Okay, it's time to do a check-in now on the Houston Rockets. Chris Paul dealing with what was initially called a leg injury, but then Mike D'Antoni said it was a hamstring problem. We know that Paul missed tons of time last season with a hamstring injury. He is the 13th ranked player over the last 2 weeks on a per-game basis, averaging 8 assists and has his shooting touch back, but this hamstring is a legitimate worry. And if I could trade Chris Paul for any sort of top 25 player, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'm just worried that he is going to miss another 10 to 15 games this season. I think that's a legitimate concern, and that's not going to be great, especially if that comes during the fantasy playoffs. That's your real concern. Harden is the number 1 player over the last 2 weeks, but his teammate Clint Capella is the number 6 guy, averaging 20 and 14. His minutes are through the roof, 37 minutes a night. Maybe that gets reduced when Nene returns, but given he has earned the trust of Mike D'Antoni, that doesn't necessarily mean that he is going to lose those minutes. Now, he could stay at a pretty high level. PJ Tucker and the Comet Gary Clark, they're just really defensive steals and blocks streamers. Tucker for steals, Clark for blocks, while James Ennis is producing okay numbers. A top 140 player, averaging 10 points with 3 rebounds, but it's mainly because he's shooting 51% from the field and 1.3% from, 1.3 steals per game. Eric Gordon's an interesting one who puts up big games when Chris Paul's out, but still over the last 2 weeks, he's only the 113th ranked player, and I don't think he finishes the season top 100. So in an 8-team league or in a 10-team league, while it would be foolish to drop Gordon now that Paul is out, when Chris Paul comes back, or even when Paul is out, I would look to trade Gordon. Otherwise, I'd consider dropping him in those shallower formats because he just cannot put up the numbers when those other guys are there. Isaiah Hartenstein has shown some flashes this season, but given this team wants to compete and they're pushing to get better, I don't think we're going to see too much of a change from him moving forward in terms of moving into any sort of a larger role.